Okay, so one of my most favorite things in the whole wide world is Portos. And since I can't really drive right now, and it's kind of a drive for me as it is anyway, and with traffic and stuff, it's harder to get stuff. And I've already suggested to them to bring one into our city, which apparently they might be. Well, not might be, they said that they would, but like later down the road, which is so amazing and awesome and cool. But in the meantime, they've started this bake at home thing where there's like a few items that you can have shipped to you and you can just bake it at home and have it nice and fresh. And I'm so excited, and it just arrived and I am about to open the box. I am so excited, and then I thought, oh, maybe I can make it for Thanksgiving, but I'm too excited to wait. Okay, and it comes in a dry ice box thing. Let me show you. See? And, well, now you saw how much I paid. Might as well show you. Then this way you can actually get it for yourself. But these are the items that I ordered. And I know I'm just opening it. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, that's cold. Ooh, okay. Sure, these are the instructions. That's the dry ice, which I am touching with my bare hands. And it says not to. That's how excited I am. Okay, let me. These are the cheese rolls. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I cannot wait for this. Let me see. These. Oh. Yeah, that's right, baby. Guava and cheese. Seriously, one of the best combinations of food ever. Oh yeah. Look at that. I cannot wait. It's good for 30 days. So they packaged this yesterday, and then they packaged this yesterday, and then they mail it today. Ooh, there it is. I'm not putting this stuff on the floor. I'm a bit of a germaphobe myself. So this stuff is actually going on the little cover that I set on the floor. This stuff is not going to be staying here. This way. Alright, these are the meat pads. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ah. Yes! I am so excited. Oh my goodness. Alright, I'm gonna go put these in the freezer. Oh man, I love that they came out with this option. It's seriously the best thing ever. Whoever's idea it was is a literal genius, and I'm not exaggerating. Because, oh, so smart. Oh my gosh. All right. So it should go without saying that a segment about baking these is so gonna happen. And it should also go without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway, that it's gonna be fun and exciting and delicious. It's gonna be pure deliciousness. And if you haven't tried these before, you're gonna want to. And if you have and you didn't know about this thing that they're doing now, you're gonna want to order them. And if you have done that, then you're just gonna give me a high five because you're like, you get it, you know? So yeah. So today is the day that I'm going to be baking the things that I ordered from Porto's, and I am ecstatic about it. I cannot wait. And I feel like this is a really important thing to share because in the journey through self-love, it means also doing things that you love to do. So for me, for example, I love cooking, I love baking, I love Portos. So getting to combine those together is just like extra, like, I don't know how to explain it. And so I'm hoping that if there's something that you really want to do, like something like this, which I know seems so simple, but sometimes people really stop themselves from doing things they enjoy because they don't have time. They, you know, maybe feel a little lazy. They'd rather get a little extra sleep. They have other things that they just make a priority and stuff. So just making time for simple things like this really just fills your heart with love for yourself. And I don't know if that sounds silly to you or not, but it makes sense to me. So I want to share this with you, and if you're not aware of what Portos is, it's a Cuban bakery, and it's one of the most delicious places to go to. They're not paying me to advertise for them. They're not. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. It's just a place that I love to go to, and I have since I was a little girl. And now they have this option that you can order it, and it literally arrives at your doorstep. You can stick it in the oven, bake it, enjoy it nice and warm, and you don't have to deal with the traffic. You don't have to deal with waiting in a really long line, which, by the way, all those things are totally worth it to have it because it's that good. And like I mentioned, I can't drive right now. So getting to have this option, I was so excited. Like the second they even mentioned it, I was jumping up and down from joy internally because I can't actually jump right now. And I ordered right out as soon as it became available. I ordered, and so I want to share this with you because it's really important to me. And like I said, I know it seems so simple, but I love this sort of stuff. So yeah, here we go. It comes with the directions for each one and a bag of parchment paper. So I'm going to start out with the Pastel de Carne, which is the meat pie. And it's this one. I washed my hands already, sanitized the counter. Did I mention I'm a little bit of a germaphobe? Just slight. Like, it's not that bad, but it just, you know, I like things clean. Okay, so these are the meat pies, Pastel de Carne. Ready? And I already placed a sheet on the cookie sheet. Anyway. And the oven has already been set to preheat. And I'm going to make, so it comes with a dozen, but I'm going to only make half a dozen today because I want to save some for later. Okay. Alright. So the instructions, the directions say step 1, preheat oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is already done. While oven is preheating, stack 2 baking sheets, one on top of the other. Place provided parchment paper on the top baking sheet, then place pastries on parchment paper and make sure pastries have at least ½ inch of space between each piece to bake evenly. I'm choosing to only make half of it, so I'm only going to do 1 baking sheet. And I'm going to put this in the oven now. So step 2 is place the 2 baking sheets in the middle of the oven. Bake pastries 35 to 40 minutes in a conventional oven. 30 to 35 minutes for convection or until golden brown. All right, here they go. Exciting. Okay, ready? It was, that's what I thought. Okay. Just making sure. One time I opened the oven and I did not look away and the heat just came to my eyes. So now I've learned from that to always turn away, let the heat come out, and then do your thing. Okay, so. I'm gonna do 38 minutes. I think that's a good amount of time. This also says, because all ovens vary, check the pastries 5 minutes before the recommended baking time. So this said 35 to 40 minutes. I'm going with 38 minutes, just, you know, and I can always check it and add more if I want, right? Okay, so these are gonna go back in the freezer so that they don't go bad. And then these will be baking after. And I'm going to do the next part of step 2, which is while they bake, prepare simple syrup by placing 1/4 cup of water and 1/4 cup of sugar in a saucepan and stir to combine over medium to high heat. Once the sugar has dissolved and the mixture has come to a boil, remove from heat. So that's going to be the next thing that I'm going to be doing. Okay, so while we wait for the pastel de carne to be done, the meat pies, I'm going to start on the syrup, which I've already done the measurements. It's 1/4 cup water and 1/4 cup sugar. So that's already done. Let's turn on the stove, and it simply says to just combine both the water and the sugar until the sugar dissolves. And once it gets to a boil, turn it off. So when you're making this, make sure you have water and sugar on hand because that's really important to put on there. Okay, so it's already starting to boil. Sugar hasn't quite dissolved completely yet. Okay, so that sounds like it's ready to me. It's boiling, the sugar's dissolved. It's ready. Okay. Smells freaking good, let me tell you. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah. I'm gonna place it on the stove and I'm going to brush the simple syrup on the pastries while it's still hot because it says when pastries are done, remove from oven and brush them with simple syrup while they are still hot. Let the pastries cool down completely before you enjoy them, which takes about 15 minutes, since the filling takes longer to cool. That's step 3. So that's why I'm going to be brushing simple syrup on them. So while we wait for the meat pies, the pastel de carne to cool down, I'm going to move over to the refugiados, which is also known as empanadas. They are guava and cheese pastries. So let me show you these. Amazing. So cheese is actually cream cheese. Okay, so now this says step 1, preheat oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is already done from the pastel de carne. While oven is preheating, stack 2 baking sheets, one on top of the other. Place provided parchment paper on the top baking sheet, then place pastries on parchment paper and make sure pastries have at least ½ inch of space between each piece of, to bake evenly. I'm gonna stick to the ½ a dozen for now. This way I have more for later too. All right, so baking cookie sheet. So this is what it looks like. Again, wash my hands already. Okay. These look good even frozen. I mean, to me. And I love it when it has like how it spills over at the end, because when they're nice and baked, they have like, it just looks, just watch. It looks really good. Okay. So there it is. And step 2 says place the 2 baking sheets, which is just one for us here right now, in the middle of the oven. Bake pastries 35 to 40 minutes in a conventional oven, 30 to 35 minutes for convection, or until golden brown. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do 35 minutes. Usually when I bake pastries like this, I go with the lower number. I usually go with the lower number because they still bake even once they're out of the oven. They're still continuing to bake. So I just go with the lower number. It also is softer that way. These are crispy, I think is the best way to say it. So when you bite into them, they're soft, but they have like a crispy, flaky, flaky, sorry, they're flaky. So, okay, so the rest of step 2 is, while they bake, prepare simple syrup by placing 1/4 cup of water and 1/4 cup of sugar in a saucepan and stir to combine over medium to high heat. Once the sugar has dissolved and the mixture has come to a boil, remove from heat, which we already did that with the pastel de carne, so there's still a lot left over from that. I can either just use that or make fresh, which I'm actually thinking about making some fresh. No, it should be okay. I was just thinking the whole mixing meat with non-meat stuff, so it didn't touch the meat, it only touched the bread part of it, so I think it should actually be okay. And like I said, there's plenty left. So, but I mean, if you're gonna be doing this, obviously it's up to you. I'm gonna choose to just wing it. See how it goes. I'm gonna choose to think about it. I'm gonna choose to think about it. Okay, so it's been a good 15 minutes. I'm going to try this, see how it came out. I personally love tapatio with it. I put this on almost everything. So definitely gonna be trying it with this. All right, so I'm gonna try it first without it and then with it, because that's how I like to do it. I've had this before, but what I'm trying is the bake at home version of it. which should be exactly the same thing. They prepare it, they do it, send it to you, you put it in the oven, bake it, and it's the same thing. But I still want to see what it's like. I want to take you on my journey with it because that's fun to do. What is it? The more the merrier? All right, here we go. Oh yeah, that's good. It tastes just like it because it is. Let's try it with tapatio. Do you guys do this? I love doing this. Alright, here we go. Yep. Totally worth it. I definitely would recommend ordering this bake at home thing because it's just like if you were to go through the traffic, go through the long lines, and if these are the items that you're going to order anyway, then you might as well just do it this way. Have it come straight to your door, have it nice and warm in the comfort of your own home, watching your favorite movie or whatever it is that you like to do while you're eating, or just have quiet time. So normally when I am baking, cooking, doing whatever, I like to listen to music. And I mean, I love listening to music when I do almost anything, you know, cooking, baking, cleaning, showering, getting ready, just randomly have it in the background, just, you know, whatever, while I'm driving, you know, when I could drive, when I'm able to drive again. Anyway, and I chose not to have music playing right now while I'm recording because even though I don't have the, what is it called, modifier thing on here on my channel, like, you know, the thing where you have advertisements going on, I chose to turn that off. So even though I don't have that going, I don't want any issues with the copyrights and stuff like that. But part of the just self-love journey and whatnot is adding anything that creates that love for yourself. So for me, I love dancing as I'm cooking or whatever it is that I'm doing, getting ready, as I've mentioned. I love just having that as a part of my experience. And, you know, that creates a lot of joy. And the point is that do things that, well, I'm not telling you to do it, I'm suggesting it. To do things that create that love. Like, you surround yourself with love, and it's your own love. It's the love for yourself. It's the things that you do for yourself that gives you that feeling. So if playing music like it is for me is part of that, then put it on and dance your heart away, sing along. I love doing that. I love singing along, I love dancing, you know, whatever. And as I'm doing what I'm doing, so if that's something that you love to do, do it. Or if not, then don't. That's part of the fun in the whole self-love thing about it, is just anything that makes you happy, that brings joy to your heart, that makes you feel like I am so fucking worth it. Yeah, I use that word because that's how much of, like, yeah, I lose words, forget words now. Sometimes it's temporary. Yeah. Fun fact, I do not like olives at all. Like, if it's in a food, okay, so like, for example, this one time I went to this restaurant with my family and they brought us bread and they're like, oh, this has like an interesting taste to it, I like it, blah blah blah, or what is it, or I don't know, it was something like that. They couldn't figure out what that distinct taste was. And like, as soon as I took a bite, I was like, well, this has olives in it. And sure enough, it did. So I can always taste olives when, I think it's for anyone, I think when you don't like a food, like your taste buds are just like, no thank you, you taste those flavors because it's very distinct. And so I've tried to like, you know, your taste buds change as you get older or whatever. And when I go to Spain, I definitely want to try them there because they say they're really good, and I'm totally willing to try it out. Because who knows, maybe I'll like the Spanish olives. I don't know. Anyway, the reason why I'm mentioning it is that the Pastel de Carne has olives in it. And even so, I still love these things. Like, they are so delicious, so good, and I will eat them. And I don't care that it has olives, and the olives actually give it a good flavor. Like, it's a good combination of flavors. So even for me, that I do not like olives at all, and there's not a lot. There's maybe like one or two once in a while, or more than once in a while. But even so, it's not a big deal. So for me, that I don't like them, I mean, that's how good, I'm basically trying to say that that's how good these things are. So I've chosen to make fresh simple syrup just because, you know what, I'm treating myself to this wonderful experience. Like, why half-ass it? And not even half-ass it, like, why, I don't know, just why not make it fresh all the way through and just treat myself to this, you know? Anyway, I'm not going to have you go through the whole thing again because you've already seen it, and the whole point is for you to see how it's done. So it's pretty much, actually, it's pretty much done already. Yeah. Okay, so step 3 is when pastries are done, remove from oven and brush them with simple syrup while they are still hot. Let the pastries cool down completely before you enjoy them, which takes about 15 minutes since the filling takes longer to cool. So it's pretty much almost, if not exactly the same directions as the Pastel de Carne. So cool. It's ready. Okay. Okay, here we go. Don't do that. This is how, like, yeah. Okay. Look at this. Do you see what I mean? How amazing, oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to be brushing the simple syrup on it. Like I said, I made a fresh batch just because why not, you know? Okay, you see what I mean about the guava and cheese that spills over to the side? I love that. You can see, like that one. Oh, yeah. Okay, so last but definitely not least are the cheese rolls, which are these. How amazing does that look? So we're gonna grab parchment paper, set it on the cookie sheet. Okay. Directions. Step 1, preheat oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Already done. While oven is preheating, stack 2 baking sheets, one on top of the other. Place provided parchment paper on the top baking sheet, then place pastries on parchment paper, and make sure pastries have at least ½ inch of space between each piece to bake evenly. Okay. So again, well, I don't know, with the cheese rolls, I'm debating. I might keep it to half a dozen as well. Let me see, maybe I'll do it like yeah, I'm gonna stick to half a dozen. Again, just to keep it balanced. Keep it balanced because everything else I did half a dozen, and then this way I have more that lasts me longer. I mean, I need to have this all done by November 29th because it's good for a full month. That's what I'm guessing because it was prepared a month. Sorry, not a month. It was prepared and then it's overnighted to you the next day, and then it's good for a full month. That based off of the expiration date. So that's what I'm guessing it's good for a month for. So, but anyway, I'm definitely going to be making these again before that's up because it's delicious. Oh. Okay, well, I think I'm a little too excited right now. All right, so step 2, place the 2 baking sheets, which of course is just one for us now, in the middle of the oven. Bake pastries 20 to 30 minutes in a conventional oven, 15 to 20 minutes for convection or until golden brown. Because all ovens vary, check the pastries 5 minutes before the recommended baking time. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. Yeah, 20 to 30 minutes. So I think I'm gonna go with 25 in the middle. Yeah, we'll see how 25 minutes does. I think that's a good amount of time, between 20 to 30 minutes. So 25, I think that works. Okay. Okay, now to taste the guava and cheese strudel, empanada, refugiado. See how this one is. It's been a good 15 minutes. Do you see what I mean by flavy? Sorry, I don't want to talk as I'm chewing or eating. That's not polite. Also very good. I feel like I'm just thinking if I would have put it in a couple minutes longer, but I don't think so. I think either way would have been fine. I think either leaving it with the amount of time that I put it in or a couple of minutes more, either way would have been good. But it's just as delicious. And now I understand why when I eat these over there or bring them home, they're sticky. And it's because of the simple syrup. I didn't realize it had that on top. I don't know why. I didn't like put the 2 and 2 together, but it's great. I was gonna say it gives it a great flavor, but I didn't think to eat them without putting the simple syrup. So maybe next time I'll do one without it just to see the difference. Yeah, I personally think it's totally worth it. It costs a little extra to order it this way than going in person, I think. Which is funny because it's like when you go to a Korean barbecue place, right? And like you're making your own food and like you're paying to make your own food. But I mean, it's marinated and stuff for you and they're bringing it to you and whatever. But I don't know. Anyway, that's besides the point. It does cost a little extra to do it this way, but it's so worth it. I actually didn't do the calculations, so I can't like 100% say it cost more. I just feel like it did, because for 12 it was like, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Either way, it's worth it to me. Like personally, I think it's totally worth it to do this, and especially given my situation that it's really hard to get myself there. This is a great option for me. And then for those of you that used to live in California and moved out of the state or out of, you know, the areas where you could go to Portos and you miss it, and you don't have a friend who will bring you some when they visit you. I've done that for friends. This is now you can get it, you know. Or like if you've come to visit and you've had this and you're like, oh my gosh, that was so good. Like there's this Cuban bakery in Florida that's so good. But obviously I can't have it unless I'm there. So, you know, for people that have had this experience, Portos, and crave it and want it and don't have a way of getting it, this is such a great option. Seriously, I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. I would totally do it. This is just, if you value my opinion at all, my taste buds, if you know what a huge foodie I am, and you value my opinion on this sort of stuff or at all, yeah, I definitely would recommend it for sure. And I haven't even tried the cheese rolls yet, so, and I'm already like, yes, do it. I was like that even before I had the Pastel de Carne, so yeah. Okay, so step 3 is when pastries are done, remove them from the oven. Let the pastries cool down completely before you enjoy them, which takes about 15 minutes since the filling takes longer to cool. Makes sense. It's ready. Okay. Go. I'm gonna be more careful this time. I usually am, but excitement, you know. See that? Looks good. Alright, so this does not need the simple syrup, but it also needs to cool down for about 15 minutes. So, as soon as that's done, I'm gonna give it a taste test. So growing up, my mom always taught me a good chef cleans up after themselves. So I always keep the kitchen clean as I am cooking. I wash dishes. I already washed the saucepan that I use for the simple syrup and all the other utensils I use. Now I'm gonna put this away for the next time because I still have half a dozen left. And now the cheese rolls should be ready soon because I have to wait close to 15 minutes, or at least until it cools down. But that's fine. What's the saying about good things come to those who wait? Oh yeah, it's coming. Okay, so now the cheese roll. Let's see how it tastes. Yeah. 3 out of 3, for sure. Yeah, I would definitely recommend to try the bake at home option. It's totally worth it, in my opinion. Yeah, I would definitely give this a 3 out of 3. I wouldn't say stars. I'm just basing it off of, I got 3 items, all 3 were great and delicious. So I would definitely try this option out if that's something that you've been curious about. So if you were like, ooh, I wonder if it's going to be any good, which if you've had Portos, you would probably, like me, be like, of course it is, like not even question it. But if for whatever reason you were questioning it or you didn't even know about this option, and now you do, and you were wondering how it works or like how it tastes or anything like that. I have a pretty good sense of taste, sense of smell, and all that. I have a heightened sense of smell actually. But anyway, and given that, I would say that these taste just like the ones that you would get at the bakery. So totally worth doing. It's fun because you get the added bonus of making it yourself. And I believe that the bakers of Portos make everything with love as well, but I make things with love. And so of course I made these with love, even though it was just, you know, I didn't actually make them. But what I did, I did with love. So that's what, like, when I bake with love. When I cook with love. So I had this little cupcake thing that I was doing that I called Made with Love. So it was chocolate chip cookies and cupcakes, and I called it Made with Love. And it's because it was just so fitting. I believe that that's the special ingredient that makes all the difference in anything in life, not even just cooking and baking, but even artistically, or when you're doing something for a loved one, even if it's just decorating your home or painting a wall, I don't know, anything. Those are just ideas quick that are coming to my mind. But of course there's all sorts of examples, and anything you do with love makes all the difference. Tastes better, looks better, feels better. So I would definitely give this a try, and if not this, then just something that you truly enjoy, that is just creates that surrounding feeling of love and for yourself, you know, from your own heart. You know, the downside is you don't get the options of all the other stuff, but that's the fun thing about going to the bakery in person, is getting to see the colorful display of all the desserts and foods and stuff that they offer, as well as ordering like their actual meals. This is just to get those cravings out of the way, I guess, or satisfy those cravings, or to just have the most popular items that you would normally get. And it's perfect. I did half a dozen now. I'm going to do half a dozen later for parties or something. If you want to just do the whole thing, order more, you can. And you know, I like getting this for parties, and I order a lot. When anything is made with love or done with love, it makes all the difference. I truly believe that that's the special ingredient that makes things taste better, look better, feel better. It's that thing that's needed, and including with yourself, like to do something that you feel happy doing, that brings joy to you, that you feel that surrounding feeling of love from yourself even, it makes all the difference. So I would really encourage you to do something that brings that up for you, and it's like a comfort as well. Activities of self-love could be anything, including something as simple as what I did today. So I just really want to encourage you to get out there and do things that provide that for you, that give you that sense of joy, love, comfort even. And providing that for yourself and receiving it, being okay with receiving love from yourself. That's what I really want to encourage you to do.